What is up, bros and broettes? I'm InkSlasher44, and today I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the best weapon in Black Ops 3. So, as you can obviously tell, my voice still sounds like crap. It's almost been a week later after I've been back from Cuba, and I just can't get my voice back, but I took yesterday off. I didn't upload a video. I was trying to get better, but apparently it didn't work. So you still have to deal with this extremely sexy voice. But today we're going to be talking about the KN-44, and I very do strongly believe that this is the best weapon in the game. Now, if you look at my list of the top 5 weapons from a couple weeks ago, this was my number 2 weapon. Why? Because a lot of people consider the Kuda to be the best weapon, and that list I was kind of giving what I believe the community's top 5 weapons were, and I still believe that the community's number 1 weapon is the Kuda, and I believe it's been that for a really long time, but this is my favorite weapon. So when Black Ops 3 first came out and I first used this weapon, it's obviously one of the first weapons you unlock in the game, and I used it a ton. I really liked it. It wasn't my favorite weapon in the game, however, it was up there. Like, it was alright. It was a decent weapon that performed well at every single range. When I first released a video about this weapon, I said that this was a bit above average weapon. Now, other commentators, one of them being Drifter, he said that this was a bad weapon to a mid-range weapon. He didn't think this was a good weapon whatsoever because it has slower fire rate and a lower damage profile. Now, later on, he said that he was wrong and he thought this was actually a pretty decent weapon, but at first, he kind of had like the same initial reaction as me, and I think many other Call of Duty YouTubers did as well. Now, I'm telling you today that this is one of the best weapons in the game, if not the best. And why am I saying that? This weapon has been buffed every single time weapons have been buffed in this game thus far, whether it be hip spread, whether it be ranges, whether it be, I don't think the damage was buffed, but I think the fire rate was buffed a little bit, but all of these things have been buffed to the point where this is a very strong and very competitive weapon, and there's a reason for that. So the way assault rifles work in any single Call of Duty games is assault rifles work at every single range, and that's why in every Call of Duty game they are so damn popular. If you look at it up close, they can drop people pretty quick. At mid-range, that's where they are extremely successful, and at long range, where sniper rifles and things like that, semi-automatic rifles, are supposed to succeed, these weapons do so at that range as well. So there's no range in the game where you will be at a detriment. And what I mean by this is that when you're using a sniper rifle at short range, you are at a huge problem. When you're using an SMG at long range, you have huge problems. Same goes with shotguns. Now, the only exception to this is LMGs. However, LMGs, generally speaking, have the same, if not slower time to kills as ARs, and you move slower with them. So what's the point of using them, right? You see what I'm saying there? So the magical thing about assault rifles in any single Call of Duty game is that, first of all, they are good at any single range, and you still have that decent movement speed with every single one of them. And that's why you'll see in any single Call of Duty game, in fact, even in real life, people tend to move towards assault rifles as the go-to weapon choice. Not to mention, most of them fully automatic, so that part of it's fantastic. Now, why am I saying I've convinced you that assault rifles are really good in any Call of Duty game? Why is this one an exceptional one? So like I said, this weapon has been patched many times to become this good, but one of the things that's always been really consistent about this weapon is the damage. So the damage profile for this weapon is super simple. It's either a 3-bullet kill or a 4-bullet kill, and that's one of the things that's magical about this weapon, because when we look at weapons normally in Call of Duty, especially assault rifles and SMGs, generally they have 3 damages, and what I mean by this is at short range, it'll take 3 bullets to kill, at mid-range 4, and at long range 5, and sometimes even drop off to 6. Now that's just like a normal run-of-the-mill damage profile, but for this one, you're only looking at a 3 or a 4-bullet kill. That is fantastic. Now, it also drops off at a pretty decent range, not an amazing range, but that being said, with the most recent buff, that damage drop off to a 3 to a 4 bullet kill has been improved by 17%, which is astonishing considering I really already like this weapon. And that's when I decided that it became the number 1 weapon, is when that patch came in, because now you can kill that much faster at that much of a better range, and that is just fantastic. Now, another stat that a lot of people frown upon is the fire rate. Now, the fire rate is 625. Sounds bad, right? Well, listen to this. Second best fire rate for an assault rifle. The only one that is better than it is the HVK 30, and guess what? The HVK 30's best damage profile is the KN44's worst. So that's amazing when you compare it that way. And not to mention, the KN44 has the same fire rate as the Razorback, which again has a worse damage profile for it. So you're looking at a lower submachine gun fire rate with a very high damage profile, and that combined together is very, very fantastic. But we're not done there. So the final stat that I really do find important with this weapon, so it just has a decent fire rate and a really good damage profile. You'd expect it to have a lot of recoil. This weapon has one of the most controllable recoil patterns on a weapon in this game. I kid you not when I say that. A lot of you are going to disagree when I say that, but when you really think about it, the only weapon that I think has this good of a recoil pattern is the Kuda. The Kuda has a really good one too, but this one is just as equally as good. And honestly, the Kuda is a weapon I'd really compare with this weapon, and maybe I should do in an episode of Versus. But these two weapons both have a very, very manageable recoil pattern. Now, the one other thing I want to look at is when I first talked about the best weapons of this game, there's a couple that I put up there, and I want to express how hugely they've been nerfed compared to this weapon being buffed. One of which is the M8A7. The M8A7 started this game with over a 1000 RPM, and it's now under 600. That is one of the things that has made this weapon, the KN44, better than the M8A7. The fire rate on the M8A7 is now lower than the KN44, and you have to deal with the burst delay of it. The KN44, when you pull that trigger, it's just going to keep on firing, where the M8A7 has some burst delay. Another weapon that I said was better than it was the Shiva. Now, the Shiva is a semi-automatic assault rifle. That means every time you pull the trigger, a bullet comes out of it. Now, if we compare the Shiva, the damage profile is better on the Shiva because you can get a 2-bullet kill. The damage profile on the KN44, you're looking at a 3-bullet kill at short range. So it's 2 to 3 bullet kill, where the KN44 has a 3 to a 4-bullet kill. Now, the thing that's huge on these two weapons is the Shiva fires at 257 RPM, where the KN44 has 625. And also, you have to pull the trigger every time you want the Shiva to fire. Now, the thing that where the magic happens is that the Shiva's inconsistent. You have to pull that trigger. You have to have that exact timing to get that best possible RPM out of it. Whereas for the KN44, it's consistent. That fire rate is always there for you. You know when you pull that trigger, it's not going to stop firing until you run out of ammo. So, I hope I've convinced you. If I haven't, go ahead and try it for yourself. If you are going to try the KN44, here are my suggestions. A super simple class setup for it is a red dot sight. If you don't need the red dot sight, if you're good enough for that, don't use red dot sight. It's 100% not needed. This weapon actually has a pretty damn good iron sights. So red dot sight, foregrip, and quick draw grip. These three things you'll be incredibly successful with. Now, say you are not using that red dot sight. Another great option is actually stock. Now, the one thing I will say about this weapon, long barrel doesn't work so great on it. In the other assault rifles, it works very, very good. It works a little bit better with the newest patch, but still not fantastic. So I wouldn't suggest using long barrel. Rapid fire doesn't work at all. Don't use rapid fire. So that is why this class setup I find to be the best. So if you don't use red dot sight, throw on stock. If you use red dot sight, don't use stock. Quick draw grip, foregrip. Boom, you have this amazing class setup where you can just shit on people, and trust me, it is very, very good. But let me know what you guys think. What is your favorite weapon in Black Ops 3? Because I know it's going to be very, very different throughout people. I know the Kuda is a favorite. I know the M8 is a favorite, but I've explained to you in this video why I believe the KN44 is actually better than the M8. So like I said, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating really helps out my channel and helps more and more people find this video. So that would be really greatly appreciated. And subscribe. I put out new Call of Duty videos every single day of the week except for Sunday. So if you're into that kind of thing, or you want to know anything about my life, my channel is the best place to do so. And if not that, Twitter, which is also, the link is in the description. So check that out. Subscribe, like. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, peace out! Take 'em.